In the previous video, we discussed maintaining Jira, upgrade and housekeeping. Let us now discuss best practices for maintaining Jira. In this video, we are going to take a look at Jira customization process, reusing the configurations and creating standard templates. Don't create too many custom fields. Don't give Jira administration rights to many people. Jira customization process. Before you start using the tool and you roll it out in your team, always pilot Jira with the default configurations so you can take a look at the behavior of the new tool, and it will also give the stakeholders the idea of the capabilities of Jira. So once you ask those stakeholders to give you the requirements and at the same time help you with the evaluation, gather their feedback and the requirements. And based on the requirements that you gather from all the stakeholders, document the proposed configurations that you will be doing in the tool. It could be the new issue type scheme along with few workflows and additional screens that you might need to create. So please document everything and then apply those configurations on a sandbox or a staging environment. And once you agree on the configurations, then implement the configurations on your production environment. And finally, set up a change control board. Let us say there is a project manager who wants to create a new custom field for their project, but don't create those new configurations without passing it through the change control board. You should always analyze the impact of any new change that you will be doing in the tool. Reusing the configurations and creating standard templates. It is always a good idea to create a standard template for different use cases. As you already know that Jira can be customized for a variety of use cases. You can use Jira for end-to-end project management. You can use Jira for just test management. So always create a set of configurations that can be reused for the same use case. For example, you can prefix the configurations with a name that will help you in identifying the purpose of that particular configuration. For example, you can have an issue type scheme that can be prefixed with test management. At the same time, you can also have a relevant related workflow scheme, and you can also use the same prefix called test management. So you will end up having few schemes with the same prefix, and these configurations will be applied on either one or multiple projects. And whenever there is a new change in all such configurations, never do it directly in the tool. You should always pass it through the change control board that we discussed earlier and analyze the impact of that new change on not only the projects but also on the users. For example, never create a new custom field without taking a look at all the custom fields that you already have. Never modify the workflow if that workflow is also being used by other projects. So it is always a good idea to have some governance around the configuration of Jira. Don't create too many custom fields. The number of custom fields has a direct impact on Jira performance. Avoid creating too many custom fields in your instance and try to reuse the custom field as much as you can. For example, don't create a custom field for only one project. Whenever you are creating a new custom field, try to see if that field can also be used in other projects. And that is why there is a concept of a context that will let you reuse the same custom field with different options. So this is quite valid for a custom field of type select list. For example, let us say there is a new drop-down that you want to add in your project, but in the other project, the values that will appear in that particular drop-down will have different options. So you can use the context for those custom fields. At the same time, also check regularly the usage of those custom fields. If you add a new custom field and after 6 months you realize that no one is actually using that particular field, so it can potentially be removed or deleted from your instance. And if you think a particular custom field is not being used anymore, so try to move the data from that particular field to some other field and try if you can remove it from your instance. don't give Jira administration rights to many people. Jira is quite a flexible tool. You can easily create new configurations, you can add more projects, and whenever you add a new project in your Jira instance, it will also create some configurations that will be applied to that particular project. But at the same time, you can easily mess up your Jira instance. And that is why you should choose a Jira administrator who is not only trained, but at the same time, they have experienced working on similar tools. So when you identify a new Jira administrator, make sure they don't end up creating too many configurations. You should always perform the audit, the technical audit that we talked about earlier, to make sure that your Jira usage along with the configurations that you're doing in the tool is not abused. New Jira administrators should also have a knowledge of business processes along with the knowledge of the tool. It is a good idea to have a basic understanding of the standard processes like Agile or ITSM, and a good Jira administrator should always challenge the stakeholders whenever there is a new requirement or there is a new change required in the tool. In this section, we discussed planning your Jira installation, installing Jira, maintaining Jira, upgrade and housekeeping. We discussed the best practices for maintaining Jira. In the next section, we will discuss using Jira Core for business teams.